The baby brother to the Volkswagen Golf and one of the world's most popular super minis today. This Volkswagen was originally not even meant to be a Volkswagen, and the concept for this car wasn't even conceived by Volkswagen Group to begin with. But this car has gone on to sell millions of cars for the Volkswagen brand worldwide. This car is called the Volkswagen Polo, guys, and today we're going to be learning all about this super mini hot hatchback. Some people may get this car confused with the Golf, and to be honest, I can see why, guys. This car basically looks exactly the same as the Golf. So if you guys want to see one of the smallest and most nimble Volkswagens built to date, then sit back and relax, guys, as we dive deep into all you need to know about the Volkswagen Polo. For all of you who don't know me, guys, my name is Andrew and welcome to all you need to know about the Volkswagen Polo. If you all are new to the channel, like always, go down below, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It would help place the video higher in the YouTube algorithms and show me that you guys are all enjoying the content. The Polo, Volkswagen's super small commuter car that probably saved Volkswagen from bankruptcy. The Polo was released only a few months after the new Golf was dropped, which begs the question, why would Volkswagen do such a thing like this if the Golf and Polo are so similar? To truly understand, we will have to go back to the beginning when the Polo was being developed. Like I mentioned in the intro, the Polo was never meant to be a Volkswagen and wasn't developed internally by Volkswagen Group. Originally, the Polo began life as an NSU. NSU was a small German company that produced motorcycles and small economy cars. They are most known for creating the 1964 NSU Spider, which came with a Wankel rotary motor. The development of the Wankel rotary motor overall was so costly and the motor was so unreliable that it put NSU in a rough spot financially. In 1969, NSU was bought out by Volkswagen Group and placed under the Audi branch. Before the takeover, NSU was working on a new project called the K50. With the introduction of the Fiat 127, Audi figured that they would take the K50 design and create their own super mini that could compete in this new market. In 1974, the Audi A50 was released by Audi NSU Auto Union AG and would be built at the former NSU factory. Only 6 weeks after the release, Volkswagen rebranded the Audi A50 and released it to the public as the lowest spec Volkswagen Polo. The release time for the Polo couldn't have been more perfect, guys. With the 1970 oil crisis and fuel prices quadrupling, consumers were looking for a cheap, fuel-efficient car, which the Audi 50 and the Volkswagen Polo fit the bill perfectly for consumers. At first, the Audi A50 was the more popular car, but slowly the Polo started to gain more steam, which allowed Audi to drop the A50 in 1978, focusing more on their larger high-end cars. In 1977, Volkswagen introduced the Derby, which was basically a Polo turned into a sedan. With 72,112 sold in 1977 alone, the car was incredibly popular, outselling the Polo, but quickly this trend flipped and the Polo became more popular. By 1979, over 500,000 Mark I Polos were sold worldwide, cementing the Polo legacy in the Volkswagen lineup. The second generation Polo went into production in 1981 with some new design updates. They introduced a new body style called the Wagon, which had a steeper rear window than the first generation Polo. They also brought back the classic Polo design and the Derby. By 1983, 1 million Polos were sold and surpassed 2 million cars by 1986. The Mark II received a facelift in the 1990s, which included a new headlight, enlarged and reshaped rear taillights, bigger bumpers, and a new interior. The previous three versions of the Polo, so the original Polo, the Wagon, and the Derby, would be continued in this next generation. But Volkswagen finally introduced their first sport version of the Polo, called the Polo GT. You could tell a GT from a normal Polo by first the red piping on the bumper, the black overhead cloth, actually having a rev counter in the car and a red GT badge. The GT was succeeded by the Polo G40 in May of 1991, and this was the fastest Polo produced for this generation. The third and fourth generation Polo saw a few improvements in the car, but the third generation Polo did see the introduction of the Polo GTI. In 1995, Volkswagen released the first GTI badged Polo in a limited batch of 3,000 only in left-hand drive. From here forward, the GTI name would be associated with the top performance version, guys, of the Polo, making an appearance in every single generation going forward. In 2009, Volkswagen launched the 5th generation Polo, and for the first time in the Polo's history, it was declared European Car of the Year, World Car of the Year, and Japan Import Car of the Year. The 5th generation also shared the A1 chassis, whose roots went back to the A50. The 5th generation would be in production until 2017, when the new 6th generation would be released. The new 6th generation shared the same MQB platform found in many other Volkswagen lineups and helped standardize many of the parts across the Volkswagen lineup. The newest GTI would feature the same 2.0 turbo motor found in the Mark 7 Golf GTI. The GTI version would come with now lower suspension, GTI badges, 17-inch wheels, bigger brakes, twin exhausts, and a roof spoiler. In total, Volkswagen has sold over 12 million of these cars worldwide, showing once and for all that the Polo Super Mini is a car that people love, and they will keep coming back and buying more of these cars in the future. For years, the Polo was built to be a small, fuel-efficient car booming during the fuel crisis of the 1970s. The first generation Polo came with an 895cc motor that could output 40 horsepower and 45 foot-pounds of torque. The car was paired with a 4-speed manual transmission that transferred all that power to the front wheels, allowing the Polo to do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 21.2 seconds and reaching a top speed of 84 miles an hour. Like I mentioned, this car was not built for speed, but it did get great fuel economy, averaging around 31 miles per gallon. This car came at the perfect time and really helped cement the car in the Volkswagen lineup. The first performance version of the Polo was the GT, but that was quickly replaced by the Polo G40. The G40 came with an inline-4 8-valve supercharged motor that could output 113 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs and 109 foot-pounds of torque at 3,600 RPMs. The car had a 5-speed manual transmission that pushed the power to the front wheels, allowing the car to do a 0 to 62 miles an hour in 8.6 seconds and reach a top speed of 122 miles an hour. The next generation Polo, the third generation, would see an introduction of the Polo GTI, but this generation would be basically the same specs as the G40 Polo. As the Polo evolved over the years, the performance would increase on the cars. The most recent generation, the 6th generation Polo GTI, has seen some substantial improvements in performance. This car now comes with a 2.0-liter inline-4 16-valve turbo motor that makes 197 horsepower at 4,700 RPMs and 236 foot-pounds of torque at 4,700 RPMs. These numbers are pretty similar to the Mark 7 Golf GTI, which they share basically the exact same platform, which is, as I mentioned, the MQB platform. The car now can do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 6.7 seconds and reach a top speed of 147 miles an hour. The Polo has come a long way in terms of performance and modern tech compared to the original Polo. The major difference between the Golf GTI and the Polo GTI is basically space. If you need a little bit more room, I would say the Golf would be a great option for you, while the Polo will have a little bit smaller space inside the car, just really depending on what you're looking for when you're looking to purchase a car. What makes the Polo the Polo? There are really two big things that makes the Polo so unique from other Volkswagen models. If you are a big Volkswagen nut like say myself, I'm sure you already know where I'm going with this topic, and that would be the original Polo Harlequin. Now to some people, this car may not make any sense with all the different body panel colors and the special Harlequin features, but for hardcore VW enthusiasts, this car is a work of art, guys. Like, come on guys, have you seen Jamie Orr's Polo Harlequin build? That car is absolutely gorgeous. That is goals for a Polo build. The original concept for the Harlequin came from an old, actually Volkswagen Beetle commercial that showed different body panels all over the car with different colors. VW did this to highlight the VW Beetle's unchanged really design throughout the years. The Harlequin came with several VW factory colors, such as Tornado Red, Ginster Yellow, Pistachio Green, and Charcoal Blue. Basically, if you guys are interested in how to tell a Harlequin from, a normal Polo, it would be looking at the actual body of the car. You need to see what the actual frame components of the car were made of, and those 4 colors would distinguish a Harlequin from, say, a baseline Polo. The Harlequin also had several special features such as patterned seats and patterned steering wheels, and also a special edition gear knob that was specially designed for the Harlequin. Originally, Volkswagen was only going to make 1,000 cars, but demand was so high for this crazy Polo Harlequin that they ended up making 3,800 cars. The cool thing is the first year the Harlequin was built was 1995, meaning that now it qualifies for the 25-year import rule in the United States. If you want to get your hands on one of these cars, I would highly recommend you jumping on it now before the prices go up. These cars are pretty sought after in the Volkswagen community, and I definitely will see and expect some people will be starting to import some of these Polo Harlequins into the US. The last part that makes the Polo so unique would be something that maybe you wouldn't think of, but it's the Polo's racing history. The first time the Polo was seen racing was with the Polo G40. Volkswagen loved the G40 so much that Volkswagen Motorsport modified G40 Cup cars and sold them for racing in a one-make series called the Volkswagen Polo G40 Cup. The Cup started in 1987, and a handful of these cars are still around today and competing in a Super Cup championship against many other brands. In 2011, Volkswagen was also looking to get back into the World Rally Racing Championship after a very long hiatus from the sport. At first, Volkswagen was competing with a Skoda Fabia S2000S, but soon built and entered a Volkswagen Polo RWRC in 2013. When they entered 2 cars into the championship, and they performed very well, winning several events and showing that the Polo was the real deal when it came to the World Rally Race Championships. Through 2016, Volkswagen won 4 consecutive manufacturing championships with the Polo RWRC and allowed the brand to work on developing a new Polo for the new generation. In 2018, VW launched the Polo GTI and performed incredibly well for the brand. Sadly, in 2019, Volkswagen announced that they would shift focus and emphasis to manufacturing of electric vehicles. This ended all motorsports programs that did not involve electric racing throughout the Volkswagen brand, meaning the World Rally Championship cars, they were all cut. What are the Polos going for? The Polos have been one of Volkswagen's most affordable and computer-based cars built to this day. This really allows for a dramatic change in pricing, which can really allow for anyone to get their hands on one of these cars. To start off, the original first generation Polo, you can find them for sale in a range between $2,000 all the way up to $9,000 on the high end. The price will actually vary a lot based on the mileage and the condition of the car. A brand new Polo, the 6th generation, are currently on sale for as low as $19,290 and go up to $32,890. That lowest end price Polo will come with a 1.0-liter 5-speed manual car, while that high price end car would be the GTI model with that 2.0 turbo setup. These are the prices for new Polos, and if you want to buy a used Polo, go look online. I'm sure you can find probably a price for a used one lower than what I was stating before. The Polo overall is a great car. Depending on your situation, you may be looking for a small fuel efficient car that is easy to get in and get around the cities. If so, the lower price Polo would be the perfect option for you. With most Volkswagen models, enthusiasts always find a way to modify and turn these cars into really something special. And to be honest, the Polo is no exception to this. From what I can see, many enthusiasts love taking the newer gen Polo GTIs and modifying them similar to the Golf GTIs, upgrading them with exhaust, downpipes, tune, new aftermarket suspension, and some wheels. The new Polo, like I mentioned earlier, is built on the MQB platform, so many of the Golf GTI mods should work well with the Polo also. From what I can see, there are some people that also modify older Polos, but it seems like the newer generation cars are a bigger pull for the younger crowd. Overall, the Polo is a great little performance car to modify, and the Super Mini spirit still lives on in this car today, which makes it really fun and really practical for newer, younger drivers to get in and enjoy this car. So, is the Volkswagen Polo for you? Personally, I think this is a great car, and it has great fuel economy for people that are looking to save money, say, on gas. It's really small, so it's great to get around cities, and the GTI model can bring all the performance you would ever need in a front-wheel drive car. The Polo reminds me of a little brother to the Golf. It looks like it performs like it, but everything is just smaller and more packed in than what the Golf is. The Polo was never meant to be a Volkswagen. Originally conceived by NSU, acquired by Audi, and then proved itself to be a perfect fuel-efficient car for the 1970 fuel crisis. The new Mark 8 Golf platform is coming out very soon, and the 7th generation Polo would most likely be switching over to that Mark 8 platform. It will be interesting to see what they are going to do with this Polo badge over this next couple of generations. Will they introduce a Polo R badge to the public, or are they just going to stick with the GTI? I guess we're going to have to see in the next few months what they're going to do, but trust me, I would love to see a Polo R badge come out for the Polo. I hope you all enjoyed this look into the Volkswagen Polo. If you all enjoyed this video, go down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. If you all want to see more All You Need to Know episodes, let me know in the comments section down below which cars you would like me to do. And hey, I'll select those cars and we'll make a video about those cars. Until next time, guys, my name's Andrew. Peace out.